Hi there, everyone. Thank you for all that have joined us today to explore some of the practical ways in which to prepare for the CQC Single Assessment Framework. Before we start, I just want to say the chat function is open should anyone have any questions during the webinar. I won't be answering them as we go along, but what I will do is I will collate all the questions at the end of today's webinar and prepare a full question and answer response sheet to send out to all of the attendees. So a little bit about me. My name's Tara. I'm a registered adult nurse and I've worked across a whole host of clinical and non-clinical settings, from senior clinical management to clinical risk management, patient safety and patient safety serious incident investigations, and more recently I've worked as a CQC inspector. So I have got that first-hand experience of what evidence is gathered as part of the regulatory assessment process. And a quick intro to Thornbury Nursing Services. We are predominantly known for our last-minute nursing services, so providing nurse and care staff when no one else can. But more recently, we've been using our extensive database of highly skilled and expert staff to support clients with solutions via our consultancy team. Now, Thornbury Nursing Services is just one of many brands as part of the Acacium Group. Acacium Group are a leading global healthcare delivery partner, and they have over 40 years of experience. So it just gives us here at Thornbury Nursing Services access to a wide range of brands and services that we can support our clients' needs with. As you can see on the screen, our brands meet individual client needs across 3 distinct areas of expertise. But that is enough about me and enough about who we are. I know you're all here today to gain a bit more insight into the CQC's changes and some practical tools to help you prepare for that. So the rollout of the new single assessment framework has begun. That began back on the 21st of November 2023. It went live with early adopter volunteers in the South. And they went through that assessment process in line with the new framework. On the 5th of December, the CQC went live with that new framework in the South region and for all local authorities. On the 9th of Jan 2024, the single assessment framework went live in London and the East of England region. And then on the 16th of January, a small number of providers in the North and Midlands region went live. And then on the 6th of Feb, assessments started for all registered providers across the whole of England, as well as the CQC starting NHS Trust well-led assessments. So the CQC have said that they will keep the implementation of the single assessment framework under continuous review. And this will be under review until the end of June 2024. Now, following feedback from providers who've undergone that assessment process, the CQC will then decide on the frequencies of assessment for each sector. Once they have drilled down and they've decided on those frequencies, a more detailed schedule for planned assessments will be published. And that plan will also include a date by which they expect all providers will have had an updated rating against the new single assessment framework. Now, it is important to note that any information coming out from the CQC will be sent to the contacts that they have on their database, the registered manager and the nominated individual. So it is vital that the contact information the CQC holds for your organisation is up to date. So just go and make sure that you have all those right details on the CQC database held for you. But until you've been contacted by the CQC, you continue to be monitored and assessed on the existing framework. If you're unsure about which region your organisation is situated in, that information can be found on the CQC's website under the title Starting Our New Assessment Approach. So a bit about the single assessment framework then. So there is much of the previous framework and regulatory practice that will continue into the use of the single assessment framework. Now, the prominent areas that remain are the legislation. So the regulatory legislation that underpins the delivery of care, that's not changed and is not changing. So the Health and Social Care Act, the regulations and the fundamental standards of care, they are all here to stay. The 5 key questions that we're all familiar with, so safe, effective, caring, responsive, and well-led, they'll all remain central to the assessment approach. So if you've already started embedding these 5 key questions into your governance processes and into your kind of feedback mechanisms, you'll be pleased to know that you don't need to change that within your governance structure. The 4-point rating scale. So although there is some variation on how the ratings will be judged and displayed, which I will talk through shortly, those headline ratings of inadequate, requires improvement, good and outstanding will still be here. You'll still have those as your headline ratings. On-site activities. So CQC inspection will continue to be a method used to support the assessment process. The CQC, with their updated guidance on how evidence will be gathered, continues to place a great deal of importance on seeing care at the point of service delivery. Now, this is likely to occur more frequently when other methods of evidence is not sufficient to assess and provide judgment, or when the CQC have specific concerns which requires assessment in person. So be prepared, there will continue to be unannounced on-site activity. And then for our colleagues in the adult social care service sector, your provider information request or your PIR will continue as it stands. And the CQC have said that they will continue to use the existing collection methods for collecting that data.